So the Palm Beach Post back in August was telling you that Laura Loomer was far right, that she had been banned from all social media, that she was no longer allowed to use Visa, MasterCard, Uber, Lyft, Facebook, Twitter, Yahoo, Google+, your sister's ass, etc. She's been banned from everything. She is the most banned woman on the internet. It's her quote. She says she ran against 5 other Republican candidates for District 21 of Florida in 2020. And as a 27-year-old, she lost a narrow vote. Didn't everyone either win or lose a narrow vote this past election? Gosh, isn't that questionable? Shouldn't we just audit that damn thing? Anyways, Laura Loomer being banned from Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, YouTube, everything, it gives you reason to believe in this. From Ron DeSantis, look at him. He's a sharp guy. If there was ever a time to be proud of the stereotypical Republican look, it's now. It's right now. Go ahead, look at Ron, say golf clap for Ron. He almost looks like Shooter McGavin. He says, Florida will not deal. Florida will not put up. Florida's going to put you down. If you are big tech, if you are a censor, if you are someone who says conservatives don't have the right to speak freely, and if they do, we don't have to encourage their reach, which means allow their speech to be heard. Yes, you can speak. We'll just mute you. Speak all you like, peasant. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, not DeSantis. I don't want that to be slurred. Ron DeSantis says Governor Florida. Nope. Says Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announces a major push to curb big tech's political bias and censorship today. There's where the real golf clap needs to be. Says Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican, announces a major push to curb big tech's political bias and censorship today, with measures including a ban on the censorship of political candidates like Laura Loomer and mandatory opt-outs of content filters for citizens of Florida. That is the real clap right there. In a 45-minute speech, Governor Florida identified big tech companies as the leading threat to American democracy and the freedom of expression today, and pledged that Florida Republicans will take action. Period. I just love saying it that way. The new regulations announced include this. Okay, this is the important piece. What does it actually include? Hey, it's nice if you say, shame on you, big tech, you bastards, you commies. But if you don't do anything, Ted, if you don't do anything, Hawley, if you don't do anything, other senators who I don't know the names of off the top of my head for this context, then you are failing and Ron is winning. So again, 3 cheers and a golf clap to Ronnie. He's mandatorily creating opt-outs for people. So if you are in Florida, you must now have the ability to opt out of the content filter that YouTube, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. would be giving you. Rutrow, that's their whole business model, is filtering the content you see. If they can't do that in Florida, Florida will become an informational hive mind of free thought, and they can't allow that. So what will happen? Well, for starters, individuals will be able to sue those companies. They say the private right of action for Floridian citizens against tech companies will violate the condition. So if you don't allow someone to opt out of the filter, if you don't allow someone to see the free thought that they're allowed to see legally, you get sued by that person individually. They can sue you. Doesn't mean they will, but they could. In addition, you'll be fined as a company $100,000 per day per political candidate that you are banning. So Laura Loomer banned on Facebook. That's $100,000 a day that Facebook will pay to ban her. If you want to run for city council and then you start tweeting some random crazy content, you're a candidate, you're legally entitled to post that, even if it's against their terms of policy. So they'll be sued for $100,000 a day. This is what we've been begging for. I don't care about their terms of service, and neither should you. You should care only for the constitutional First Amendment, that is a protection of your freedom of speech given to you by God or your Creator Almighty. That is it, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. So if the big tech companies want to say, well, we're going to play God and limit your freedom of speech, and you can say whatever you want, but say it in person, don't say it on our company's platform, fine. You'll be sued $100,000 per day. And mark my words, you'll see people who say, I'm a candidate for this whatever elected public office. It could be a non-effective office. It could be a completely non-issue, moot office position. But now you can't censor them. How many people are going to run for office next year? I bet you many. They say they also require daily fines for any tech company that uses their content and user-related algorithms to suppress or prioritize. So 2 ways there, negative and positive. If they're negatively impacting or positively impacting any content related to a political candidate or cause. Now that includes you. If you post something that says, stop the steal, that is a political cause. If they ban it, it will be $100,000 fine per post, per ban, per day. They will not survive a day doing this. Hell, I'll drive to Florida, log in at a library, and post some shit just to milk them $500,000. It'll take me 5 minutes because I can post about once a minute with something substantive that'll get me banned. That means I'm working every minute not to get banned daily, just to show you what I'm dealing with. This is why my temples are going silver. They say disclosure requirements will also be enforced by Florida's election authorities for tech companies that favor one candidate over the other. So, Google, definitively favoring the lefty hardcore communist agenda, the globalist ideology, they will now be sanctioned by Florida. They will have reinforcements against that from the Floridian government. Good. They should have a check against a company operating in their state to affect their state's elections, but with no accountability from that state. That all changes today with Ron DeSantis and him saying, essentially, the other thing we'll do, this is kind of the biggest one, power of the Florida Attorney General to bring cases against tech companies that violate any of those conditions under the state's Unfair and Deceptive Practices Act. So, got a street racer outside. So, if one of these tech companies says, screw you, we're doing it anyway, we got deep pockets, we'll pay it, then the state itself will get involved, and they may no longer be allowed to operate in the state at all. That will be the outcome from the Unfair and Deceptive Practices Act outcome. If they are charged with that, they will be booted from the state. Can you imagine Florida no longer allowing its citizens to use Facebook, Twitter, Google, I was going to say MapQuest, but Google Maps, Amazon? Because you know Amazon does this to companies. If a company sells Stop the Steal shirt, they get shuttered, they get degrouped, they get deboosted. Same thing here. Just watch these lawsuits pour out. Once this happens in Florida, once this push goes through from the governor, Ron DeSantis, again, blessed be Ron. Say your prayers for Saint DeSantis to save Florida. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Share this video, like this video. If you want to be kept up to date with everything that will help keep America afloat, then you should subscribe to this channel on BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, YouTube, and Gab at America Floats, and do everything else that you can do to keep America afloat.